Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. Today we will study about elements, compounds, and mixtures. Elements. An element is a pure substance that cannot be broken down into two or more simpler substances by chemical processes. For example, sugar is not an element. It can be broken down into carbon and water vapor. Water vapor can be further broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. So it turns out that carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are elements and they cannot be further broken down into simpler substances. Chemical symbols of elements: calcium, Ca, carbon, C, hydrogen, H, iron, Fe, mercury, Hg, neon, Ne, silicon, Si, sodium, Na. Classifying elements. We will classify metals, nonmetals, and metalloids based on their properties. Metalloids have both metallic and non-metallic properties. For example, silicon. Appearance: metals and metalloids have a shiny appearance, but non-metals are dull. Physical state at room temperature and pressure: r.t.p. Metals and metalloids are mostly solids, but non-metals can be gases, volatile liquids and solids at room temperature and pressure. Melting and boiling points: metals and metalloids have high melting and boiling points, but non-metals have low melting and boiling points, except for carbon and silicon. Ductility and malleability. Note: ductile means can be drawn into wires, malleable means can be hammered into different shapes without breaking, sonorous means making a ringing sound when struck, brittle means can be easily broken when hammered. Metals are ductile, malleable, and sonorous. Metalloids and non-metals are brittle. Heat conductivity. Metals have a good heat conductivity, metalloids have a moderate heat conductivity, and non-metals have a poor heat conductivity, except carbon. Electrical conductivity. Metals have a good electrical conductivity, metalloids have a moderate electrical conductivity, and non-metals have a poor electrical conductivity, except carbon. Atoms and molecules. Atoms are the smallest particles of an element that have the chemical properties of that element. Each element contains only one type of atom. Noble gases such as radon, xenon, neon, etc. are elements that exist as individual atoms. They are called monatomic elements. A molecule is a group of two or more atoms that are chemically combined together. Diatomic molecules are those that are formed by the combination of two atoms. Iodine, chlorine, polyatomic molecules are those that contain three or more atoms. Sulfur, phosphorus. Compounds. A compound is a pure substance containing two or more elements that are chemically combined in a fixed ratio. For example, water H2O is a compound. It is made up of the two elements hydrogen and oxygen. Two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom make a water molecule. The ratio of hydrogen atoms to oxygen atoms is always 2:1. Water is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Composition of a compound. A compound can be made up of either molecules or ions. Example of ion is sodium chloride. Ions are electrically charged particles. Properties of a compound. A compound has different properties from its constituent elements, the elements that form it. For example, magnesium and oxygen make up a compound called magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide has properties different from magnesium and oxygen. Chemical formula of a compound. The chemical formula tells us the types of atoms present in a compound and the ratio of different atoms present in the compound. The symbols H and O tell us that hydrogen and oxygen atoms are present in the compound. The subscript 2 tells us that there are 2 hydrogen atoms present in one water molecule. Decomposition of compounds. Compounds can be decomposed by the chemical processes such as thermal decomposition and electrolysis. Thermal decomposition involves heating the compound strongly. For example, when mercury 2 oxide is heated strongly, it decomposes to give the elements mercury and oxygen. Mixtures. A mixture is made up of 2 or more substances that are not chemically combined. Mixture of 2 elements, neon and hydrogen. Mixture of 2 compounds, water and carbon dioxide. A mixture of 1 element and 1 compound, hydrogen and ammonia. Alloys are one of the widely used mixtures which consist of a mixture of metals and other elements. The trumpet is made of brass, which is an alloy of copper and zinc. That's all for now. Like, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you don't miss our incoming videos.